Hi guys, thank you for joining me on Making with Marilyn. On today's video, I'm going to be making a shirt that I hope turns out really cute. It's a football shirt, and I'm going to be placing my heat transfer design on this raglan 3/4 length sleeved t-shirt that I purchased at Joann's recently with a 60% off coupon. At 60% off, it was only $3.20. And then I also recently purchased some of Cricut's new holographic iron-on mosaic, and you can look at the label there. I purchased it when it was 40% off directly from Cricut's website. This is the Aurora Sampler Collection circles, and it came with 3 sheets in it. Now, these may not show up real well as far as the true colors on the camera because of the lights in here, but this is silver. Yeah, I think you can see that pretty well. Let me take the back sheet off of it. Yeah, that is the silver sheet. And then second, I have a rose gold, and it looks a little strange on the camera, but it is rose gold, but it is holographic, so it's going to have some other colors show through as well. And then here it is without the liner that they sent with it. They send these white liners because the back, since the circles are cut out of vinyl, there's a sticky part to the back on the back of the carrier sheet, so they're protecting them from getting stuck to each other or stuck to something. And then the one I'll be using today is the gold sheet, and that looks like it. There we go. You can kind of see up in this area because of the lights in here, it looks kind of pinkish. And the back is red, so that's what does that. That's what does that, but it is gold. Okay, so to cut my design, I'll use my computer, my Cricut Maker. I'll use a standard grip mat. I have a ruler, scissors, a rotary cutter, a sharp cutter, maybe that's not a box blade, but similar to that. I have my weeding tool. I have my brayer, and then before I press it, I'll clean it with the lint roller, and then I'll press it with my Cricut Easy Press 2 and a Cricut Easy Press mat. Now, I think I went through everything, so let me get things set up, and I'll be right back. So here's the design I'll be cutting out. So I'm going to click Make It. I'll start with the first layer, the white layer. I'll get my computer set up so that you can follow along. We're ready for our first cut. This is the white layer. These are the laces and the stripes on the football. Before I get started though, I want to mirror each of my layers so that I don't forget that. You always want to do that on HTV. If it's not something that really matters, like words or numbers, something you wouldn't tell it's backwards, you don't have to necessarily, but I want the design to look just like what it looked like on the screen. And for that to happen, you do need to mirror it. It's always just a really good habit to get into. For my white layer, and I forgot to tell you at the beginning of the video that I needed white and black. I was so excited about my mosaic iron-on. So I apologize for that. I'll add something into the video. But this is white heat transfer vinyl that I purchased off of Amazon. You get 25 feet for somewhere around $30, slightly less than $30 at the time I purchased it. I'll link to that below. I happen to have a scrap that was tall enough, too wide, but I'm still going to use it. I'll keep the scrap that's left after that. Okay, so I need to go back to my white layer, so I select it, and then it is mirrored. I will click Continue. It's making sure my maker is attached. I'm going to select Everyday Iron-On, and it's telling me I can load my vinyl. When the light flashes, you're ready to send it to the maker. The cut's complete, so it's telling me to unload my vinyl. I like to turn my mat over and peel my mat off of my material. So I'll do that. Now the next one I'm going to cut is my black layer. So instead of cutting out, I don't have a scrap big enough for this layer, so instead of cutting out what I think it'll take, I am just going to lay down the roll of black vinyl. Use my brayer to make sure it's very well adhered. I'm still going to use the same cut setting for everyday iron-on, so I'm ready to load my mat, and now I can send it. My sound might sound a little better now. I had forgot to put my microphone back on. Okay, so it's telling me that it's time to unload the mat. And then I want to turn my mat over, trying to hold my material as flat as I can and remove it from the mat. Okay, so I can see where my cut is, so I'm going to waste as little vinyl as possible. I was worried that this design was going to be a little bit too small for my shirt, but I think it's going to be just perfect. Okay, so now the time that makes me nervous, which is cutting this new material that I have that I've never used before. Now, before I cut it, I need to change my setting. So I don't know how well you can see this, but you can click on this everyday iron-on, and then you get to choose what you want for this cut. So I'm going to browse, and I know it's called holographic. So let's see how many holographic things they have. Okay, this is the holographic iron-on mosaic. So I'll select that and click done. Now it comes with a white sheet under it. I think I had talked about earlier, that's just to protect the sheets under it from getting stuck to it, or anything under it getting stuck to it, because the part that's not covered with circles is still sticky. So we're going to put this on just like you would any other heat transfer vinyl. So you're putting the carrier sheet against the cutting mat. And then the back side of the vinyl is what you can see. That's what needs to get cut through. Okay, I'm very nervous. All right, my mirror's on. Let's see what happens. Okay, let me move things a little bit out of the way, and we'll get this weeded. Wow, that's pretty. Okay, now I want to save as much of this as possible so I can see where my design cut. I just want to make sure. Okay. So I'm going to cut out the design and save the rest of this HTV. and we'll save that for last. I also have spare HTV on this sheet, so let me keep what we don't need. And then here's my black one. I can see my black one cut all the way through in a couple places, which isn't ideal, but I'll make it work. Okay, so I want to just keep the laces and the stripes of this white. So I just poke through my vinyl. And this weeds really easily. Not concerned about it at all. There, see how easily that weeds. Now this one usually weeds pretty easy. With it cutting through, I'll have to be a little bit careful, but I don't think it'll be too bad. All right, that's what we do. We go with it. Now the last one is this new holographic. I hope this works well. I know I need to get rid of the laces. That's kind of hard to see when you're weeding. I'll go ahead and work through it and speed up. Okay, I'm pretty well done. I'll check it again after I get the rest of my design pressed to make sure that something isn't on there that shouldn't be, or that something isn't missing. So for now, I'm going to get my Easy Press 2 set up. I'll pause the camera and I'll be back in a minute. I've started using a lint roller on all my shirts. I started doing it when I used the infusible ink, and now I just think it's a good idea to get up anything that might be on the shirt. So we'll do that. Okay, so the online instructions tell you that you should preheat the front for 5 seconds, and then you preheat on the back for 15 seconds. So I'm going to go ahead and preheat that. When it gets down to about 24, I'll remove it. Okay, so I want to spend a little bit of time getting this really straightened up and placed on here. I'm going to put the bottom of the collar just at the top of my Easy Press mat, and I want to have an equal amount of shirt going off the sides of the mat so that I know it's fairly straight. Okay, so I am going to start with the black. Now I got a little ahead of myself setting my Cricut Easy Press for 330. I actually want to do the black layer first, so I'm going to take that down to 275. And I'm going to do a really short press. This black layer is going to get multiple presses. So I'm just going to try it on 5 seconds and see if that works to get it at least adhered down enough. So I will let that cool off and I'll be right back. Okay, so our easy press is at 275. I have it set for 5 seconds. I'm going to do the black layer first. I want to put this ruler across. Hopefully it's pretty straight. That looks pretty straight from my view. Measure down. That is right at about 3 inches. So let's find the center of my design. Okay, that looks pretty good. Okay, I think I'm calling that good. I'm going to pick it up and eyeball it here in just a minute. Okay, well, if that's not good enough, I don't think anyone's going to notice. If it's not exactly perfectly straight, I think it looks good. All right, that looks good. So I am going to do 5 seconds. Since I cut through my carrier sheet a little bit, I'm actually going to cover this. You don't have to, but I'm going to. Now let me see if that's going to stick down or not. Not yet. Okay, that's sticking down just fine. Now on the holographic mosaic vinyl, oops, there's a little piece that didn't. So as I was saying, the holographic vinyl, it says not to layer anything on top of it. So the next layer I'm going to do will be my white layer. And that piece just doesn't want to stick down. Also, my design wasn't perfect because some of the black letters weren't truly touching the line of the football. And so even though I welded it where they weren't touching, that welding didn't really help me out. But it will be fine. This design will look great. Okay. So, you know, that's kind of a pretty shirt just like that. But it's not done yet. I'm going to let that cool just a minute. So this vinyl states that it should be 302 Fahrenheit. So I'm just going to increase my temperature up to 300. That's what I've used with this vinyl before. And then it says 10 to 15 seconds. So I am going to do 10 seconds to start with. Okay, now I realize I didn't do any what's called registration marks, and so I'm going to have to kind of play around with this. I can see from those notches that that's the notch of the N, and then this is on the O, so it's not going to be too difficult. I want to lay my football over it. And again, I haven't finalized weeding of the football because there may be, I don't know, I might need to take those little things out. Let's see. So I have a tiny bit of sparkle there, there, there. I think that's good placement for the white. Now, since I have exposed vinyl, I definitely need to use my Teflon sheet now. So if you don't have one of those, you really should buy one. They are very good to use. Set it on, start it up, and put some medium pressure on it. Now this white HTV is a cool peel, so I'm going to need to let that cool off before I can check it. But it's going to be gorgeous. All right, so we'll get it on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it over. And I'll do about 15 seconds on the back. I can go ahead and turn my easy press off. Well, I assume I can. I guess I should check it first, but we'll go ahead and turn it off. Okay, let's see if it'll come up. Oh, yes. Now that little piece didn't stay. So let's go ahead and press it a little more. You know, with the easy presses, you're at the mercy of how you press. It's not like a regular heat press where it's even pressure all over the place. So I'm going to do this for about 10-15 seconds. And then, since it's a warm peel, I'll go ahead and let that cool off a little more. Okay, so let me try this. Okay, so that looks pretty good, but there is a second liner on top of the mosaic transfer. Here's the final product, and I really do like it. When I first saw it under the lights and under the camera as I was peeling off that second sheet, I was a little underwhelmed, but then I put the shirt on, I went into the bathroom so I could comb my hair and get ready for this final clip, and it was gorgeous. So in the end, I really do like it. It is a little more expensive than regular vinyl, but I got it on sale at 40% off, and that comes out to $2.60 approximately per sheet. And I used maybe a fourth of the sheet, a third to a fourth of the sheet, somewhere in there. So when you add the cost of the shirt, about $1 for what I used of that, I'm rounding up and saying maybe $1.50 of what I used for the Caesar and the white vinyl, although I think that's more than what I really used. That's a total of $5.70. And for a shirt that's custom like this, that's gorgeous, that's blingy, that's a really good deal. I'll be hand washing this and taking very good care of it. Now, the things I didn't like, it was more difficult to weed than regular HTV, and you had two peelings. So you peeled the carrier sheet off, and then you had a second little protective see-through sheet that you had to take off. And that second sheet was a little bit difficult to remove. I think I found more success in peeling it up with my thumbnail and peeling it away that way. I was concerned when I was using my weeding tool that I might poke through my shirt. So I was very careful. It took a while, but you'll see, or you see, the end result is just stunning. I'll be using this vinyl on a lot of special occasions. It's not something I would use every day, but it is something that when I want to make something special, I will definitely be using it. If you like my video, please give me a thumbs up. If you have any questions or comments or suggestions, maybe you've used this before. This was my first time, and so maybe you've discovered some hacks that would help me out. Leave a comment. And if you'd like to see what I'll be working on in the future, hit the subscribe button. Thanks again for joining me. I'm Marilyn. Bye-bye. Okay, I'm trying to get a better shot of it because this is just something you have to see in person. It's so blingy that it's hard to get a good feel for what it looks like in the video. There's a little less glare, but of course then it looks kind of plain, and it's not plain at all. Let's see. And then you get down here and it's so shiny you can't see the white anymore. This is something you just need to see in person. So buy some, have some fun with it, and share your projects back with me.